Climate change will cause more frequent and intense rainfall. Rivers will have to carry more water and the risk of flooding will increase.
Alles lag hier plat, hè. In grote zee, dat was alles water.
People had to rescue their livestock, the cattle and the sheep as well.
Er zat best angst al in de polder. Het wordt toch de link voor de mensen, we gaan eruit.
To protect people in Northwest Europe against flooding, the ALFA project is helping the rivers to cope with peak flows. This is done by improving infiltration of water into the ground, by storing water during peak flows, and by increasing the river's capacity to convey water. In doing so, ALFA contributes to the safety of several million people. The quality of river landscapes also benefits hugely. Imagine a river. It starts as a small brook upstream in the mountains. Tributaries make the river grow and its channel becomes wider and deeper. Midstream, the river forms a floodplain with natural levees as it flows through valleys. At the end of its journey, the river reaches the sea, forming a delta. From the source to the mouth, we need to apply different measures to protect people and properties against flooding. Upstream, the River Eden in England. In the past, water infiltrated the soil and slowly reached the river. Now the landscape has changed. Fields have been enlarged and hedgerows, ponds and woodland lost. The slopes of hillsides have become impermeable due to compaction of soils, building and concrete floors. This causes rapid surface runoff and soil erosion and increases the risk of floods downstream. To regain the sponge-like function of the ground, we ask farmers to help improve the soil structure in their fields. For example, by using a soil aerator, by planting hedgerows to slow down runoff, and by creating small ponds to store floodwater and encourage the settlement of silt.
If the rain comes fast, field drains can't take it, so it all washes off the top into the little streams, and we have problems with flooding in houses in the village. We have a lot of sheep, we have 500 sheep running over and they cause a lot of compaction of the soil. If we spiked it at certain times of year, it would let the air in, therefore helping filtration and not letting water run straight off the top, it lets it get in. If we put some wooden rails across the river at points sort of every 200 or 300 metres, it slows the water down. What we've done here has definitely helped.
On a bigger scale, we can adapt the course of river tributaries. For example, the Emscher River in Germany that flows into the Rhine. In the past, it was used as an open sewer for the industrial Ruhr area. The revitalization of the Emscher as a nature-like urban river system helps to slow down the water and creates a beautiful landscape. The land we make available for these measures is not empty. People live there. It's used for farming, forestry, sand and gravel mining, and recreation. It's also valuable for wildlife. Therefore, we need to maintain and combine these interests as much as possible. Midstream, the River Rhine in Germany. The course of the River Rhine was straightened in the 19th century for shipping. Natural floodplains, such as the Hürther Rheinauer, were separated from the main river and have remained dry for the last 100 years. Now, we want to reuse them as flood retention areas to store peak flows from the river. We also want to restore their wetland character. Forestry will remain possible in these wetland areas by replacing the existing trees with trees that can withstand flooding for a period of time.
Das hat mit der Rinde zu tun. Die Buche hat eine ganz glatte Rinde, die kann keinen Sauerstoff speichern. Während die Eiche eine sehr grobe Rinde hat, da speichert sich der Sauerstoff auch bei der Überflutung. Und deswegen können diese grobrindigen Bäume ein Hochwasser viel besser vertragen als glattrindige Bäume. Aber wir werden hier in den Buchenwäldern überall kleine Eichenwäldchen anlegen, damit wir wenigstens Inseln im großen Waldgebiet haben, die das Hochwasser überleben können. Wir müssen die nächsten 100 Jahre an diesem Projekt dranbleiben, aber wir fangen jetzt an. Wenn die Hürther Rheinaue überflutet wird, dann sind hier 30 Millionen Kubikmeter Wasser festgehalten, in Reserve gehalten. Und diese 30 Millionen Kubikmeter Wasser kommen eben bei den Städten, die Unterlieger sind, nicht an.
In France, a similar measure is planned in the La Bassée area to store the flood peaks of the River Seine and so protect Paris from floods like the one in 1910. As in the Hurt, retention in La Bassée has to be combined with agriculture, gravel extraction, and the opportunity to restore wetlands. In Flanders, the retention principle is applied on a smaller scale, but in a more natural way for the Velpe River, to protect the downstream town of Halen. By constructing a dike that cuts straight through the valley, in which a weir can control the flow of the river, an online retention area is created. In the Netherlands, at the delta of the River Rhine, measures are taken to create more room for the river in the River IJssel at Deventer. Part of the floodplain has been excavated, giving the main river more room. The local farmer is responsible for maintaining the floodplain, keeping it free from large vegetation so that the water can flow unimpeded at higher river levels.
Het zijn koeien die heel goed passen, niet alleen in de omgeving, maar ook vanwege de natte omstandigheden en het ruige gras wat ze moeten eten. Bij ons op het land zijn 3 grote geulen gegraven. En die geulen zorgen ervoor dat de rivier met hoog water het bij Deventer 12 centimeter lager blijft. Geulen moeten onderhouden worden. Wij zorgen dat ze vrij blijven van begroeiing. Er mag niet te veel riet komen, er mag niet te veel wilg komen. Dus het is goed voor de natuur en het is goed voor het water.
The polder bordering the Meuse will also be used to carry more water when needed. The polder is mainly agricultural and provides housing and farmland for 7 families. To combine agriculture and room for the river, the farms have been rebuilt on mounds, which will remain dry during flood events. A modern variation of the mounds to which their ancestors fled from water during Roman times. In all the ALFA measures, land was used to store or carry floodwater in one area to protect people and property in another area. In all the ALFA projects, people had to adapt their work and lifestyle to the changes in their surroundings. And in doing so, they're showing great solidarity with the people living in cities up and downstream.